Today's video, my fellow agents, is a follow-up to one that I did the other day where I highlighted some of my favorite exotic weapons and gear in the game, and in the comments section of that video, some of you reached out to the channel asking me what are my favorite talents to use on the armor and the backpack. So today, my friends, I'm going to take a few minutes and go over a few of the combinations that I really enjoy using. What's up, my YouTube family? Graybeard with the Gaming Brigade, back with another Division 2 video. And today, my friends, like I said a moment ago, it's just a quick breakdown of some of my go-to talent combinations in the game that I like running with pretty frequently. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. And we are having a giveaway for a PlayStation 5, but as always, I will save that information until the end of the video. Now, the first thing I want to mention as we start off is that, as most of you know by now, there are so many different ways you can put a build together, and one of my favorite aspects is the fact that many of the talents in the game, including the ones I'm showing you today, can be used in multiple build types. Now, the first one I'm showing you happens to be my favorite combination in the game, and this is something I use on a daily basis for pretty much everything. Now, on the chest, we're using Intimidate, and as you can see with that talent, while you have bonus armor, you're going to gain 1 stack each second up to a max of 7. Each stack increases weapon damage by 5% to enemies within 10 meters, and typically I use this with a run and gun build, so that talent is running pretty much non-stop. Another great one to use in this spot is Obliterate, but I will show you a different version of a build with that in a moment. Now, when we're talking about the Memento backpack, and most of you know this, but one of the main reasons it is still one of the most popular bags in the game, especially for a run and gun style build, is because of that talent Kill Confirmed, where you're gaining all of those bonuses as you pick up the trophies. And I know for a lot of you out there, you may be sick of seeing builds using this, but the fact is, in my opinion at least, this is still one of the best bags in the game by far, especially for a build style like this. Now, for those of you that do not have it, thankfully it is in the general loot pool. You can farm for it anywhere the bag is the targeted loot. I suggest farming the Summit or Countdown, and if you don't have any luck getting it to drop in Countdown, always remember, when you play Countdown, you earn Countdown resources, and with those you can buy exotic caches from the Countdown vendor, so hopefully after you buy a few, you're able to pick one up, and as always, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Now, another great combination I like to use, and this is actually great for those of you who do not have the Memento, this can be an alternative, is the combination of Obliterate and Adrenaline Rush. So you can see with the talent Obliterate, critical hits are going to increase weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 25 times, and when we make our way to the bag. And for this first variation, I'm showing you a combination of the named bag, the Matador, which has perfect Adrenaline Rush, and with that, whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, gain 23% bonus armor for 5 seconds, it stacks up to 3 times. Now, when we go to the regular version of that talent, that will give you 20% bonus armor for 5 seconds. Again, it stacks up to 3 times. Now, earlier I talked about build diversity in this game, so if we were to jump back to the chest piece, like in that first version of the build, you could then swap this. If you don't want to use Obliterate, you could use Intimidate here. Again, my friends, there are a lot of options to choose from, so always remember, and this is something you hear me say in pretty much every single build video I put together, is you want to truly take your time and make a build your own. You may want more armor, you may want less, you may want to try around with different talents. Again, use builds you see online as a template, and then try them out in different situations, solo, group, missions, control points, whatever it may be. That way you can make certain adjustments, and always remember, you are going to need to obviously shift your gameplay as well, but the most important thing is to really make sure you know how the build functions. The next combination I'm showing you, my friends, is one I use for either marksman rifle builds or rifle builds, and that is either perfect headhunter and vigilance, or the regular talent Headhunter and Vigilance as well. Now, you can see with this talent, after killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit within 30 seconds deals an additional 150% of that killing blow's damage. Damage is capped to 800% of your weapon damage. This is raised to 1250 if your headshot damage is greater than 150%. Now, for those of you that may not have the named Walker and Harris chest piece, the Chain Killer, you do not need the talent Perfect Headhunter to one-tap NPCs. I've put out a ton of different builds using the regular talent Headhunter that can still get the job done. Now, as I said a moment ago, one of my favorite talents to pair with Chain Killer is the talent Vigilance, and with that talent, it increases total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. And I know for some players out there, you're not really the biggest fan of this talent because you can lose that buff. Now, another great option is the talent Composure, and with that, when you're in cover, you're going to increase your total weapon damage by 15%. And though there is a 10% decrease in that damage bonus, you never have to worry about losing it regardless if you're taking damage or not. Now, another great option is the named Bag the Gift, which has the talent Perfect Vigilance, which increases that weapon damage that same 25%, and the only difference between regular Vigilance and Perfect is a 1-second cooldown. So with Perfect Vigilance, it cools down for 3 seconds, the regular version takes 4 seconds, so again, it is not a huge difference. And you can see here with this build, I'm using the Mantis Marksman Rifle. This is one of my favorite combinations in the game, and one of the best things about these combos is that you can use them in so many different ways. I see builds out there that people use a shotgun with a Crusader shield. They have both of these talents on their items. They wind up one-tapping NPCs with, hits to the dome. I see other people using more of a tank build. They're using a handgun, and once again, because they are using a shield, the talent Vigilance is running pretty much non-stop. So remember, anytime you're trying out something new, there is a bit of a learning curve, but once you get it down, these builds are so much fun to use. Last but not least today, agents, we are using my favorite skill combination in the game. This is something I've been using for a very long time. You can use these combos with different pieces of gear. Now, the first one we're talking about is on your chest, and it's the talent Kinetic Momentum. And with that talent, when in combat, each skill generates a stack while active or not on cooldown. Stacks increase your total skill damage by 1% and total skill repair by 2%, up to 15 stacks per skill, lost when not on cooldown. Now, there actually happens to be another talent that recently I really love running with a skill build. It's a close second to this one, and that is the talent Spotter or Perfect Spotter. Now, you can see with the Perfect version, it amplifies total weapon and skill damage by 20% to pulsed enemies, and which one of these talents you choose is going to be dependent on the type of build you like to use when you're running a skill build. Do you want to stay in cover? Is it more aggressive? So in my opinion, either one of those are going to work great, especially when you combine it with the talent Combined Arms, and with that talent, shooting an enemy increases total skill damage by 25% for 3 seconds, and since you're pretty much always shooting enemies with this build, that talent should be running non-stop. Once again, there is a perfect version of this talent as well. It's on the Hand of You backpack, the Force Multiplier. It has Perfect Combined Arms, which increases total skill damage by 30% for 3 seconds. So again, there is that 5% difference, but even the regular version can totally melt NPCs. Now, as I start to wrap this video up, and most of you know this by now, but one of my favorite aspects about putting any type of video together at the channel is the family that we have here. So if you have any skill or talent combinations you like to use, please let me know in the comments section down below, as the main goal is to help out as many people as we can. With all that being said, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel, and remind you, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, let me know and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, we are currently having a giveaway for a PlayStation 5. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced May 4th of this year. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage, and as I said at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.